Hey there, I'm Elizabeth, and in this video I want to tell you about the 21-day fix and intuitive eating, because I think intuitive eating is really important. It's an approach that's helped me a lot, and it's not immediately clear how that can necessarily be reconciled with the 21-day fix, which is a program that I lead groups through every single month. So how can I support both of these things at once? Well, let me tell you. And first, let me tell you just a little bit about my own history. You know, if you've been following me on this channel, you might already know that I have a history of an eating disorder. I am recovering from compulsive overeating. So I used to binge on almost a daily basis, and it was miserable. I felt like I had no control over what I would eat. I was locked in this cycle of depriving myself because I felt like I had to punish myself for what I had eaten the previous day and like all of my life leading up to this point. And then obviously my body was hungry, so I would then get just so starving hungry that I would eat to the point of being uncomfortably full, just, you know, in physical pain. Sometimes I would try to throw up. That wasn't something that worked for me. Fortunately, I think, because I know a lot of people struggle with bulimia, and, you know, it has terrible health consequences, including ruining your teeth. So I guess I'm fortunate that, you know, my body, for whatever reason, kind of just didn't want to do that. But it still was really, really tough for a lot of years for me, and I never thought it would end. You know, I thought I was going to live my whole life that way. But at the same time, I wanted to get out of it, and I wanted to get better. I just didn't know how. So what worked for me was a combination of seeing a therapist, or a counselor, some people call it, but, you know, talking about it with someone who had experience treating people with eating disorders. And I went to Overeaters Anonymous, so I practiced the 12 steps and connected with other people who were also in recovery. And I read a lot of books, just memoirs and self-help books, trying to piece together how other people had gotten through this. And so I am going somewhere with this. One book that had a big effect on me was When Food is Love by Janine Roth. And it's an older book, definitely at least 30 years old, but, you know, it's timeless. It still rings true. And basically she was describing her own healing of her relationship with food, and what she had to do was allow herself to eat whatever she wanted. She had to get over that fear and not be like, chocolate is bad, chocolate is evil, sugar and fat are evil. She had to get past that. And this was what I tried to that really, really helped me. So I just had to stop trying to control food. And by letting go, I let go of that fear that, you know, I'll start eating and like basically never stop, right? So that's kind of the fear, that there's like no limit to your hunger. Well, it turns out that if you eat enough on a regular basis, you just get kind of a normal level of hungry. You don't get that just mind-boggling hunger where you feel like you're going to die if you don't eat something. You don't let it get to that level because you're nourishing your body. And that was what I learned. And slowly, you know, it became like, if I want some ice cream, I'm going to have some ice cream, instead of no ice cream, okay, I'm going to eat the whole container. So that was just a little bit about my journey, but intuitive eating really, really helped me break out of that cycle that I had been stuck in. So, you know, I want to say there was a time when the 21-day fix would not have worked so well for me. And if you are in a place like that right now, I don't want to work with you in that capacity. I have some free groups, and I do some one-on-one coaching where we can help you, if you want to work through that intuitive eating approach and just have me as someone to talk to as you go through it and as you practice it, I would love to do that with you. But, if that's kind of where you are, where you feel like measuring your food in containers is not going to be helpful for you, then for sure, don't do this plan right now. But I do want to tell you that, if you are pretty good with, eating when you're hungry, stopping when you're full, that kind of thing, like if you don't have an active eating disorder right now, the 21-day fix can be combined with intuitive eating, and the two approaches are complementary. They don't conflict. And so let me just tell you a little bit more about what I mean by that. So, all right, so we got these containers, right? And to tell you to eat, 5 of these a day and 3 of these a day, but that's not intuitive, right? Because you're given a number and it doesn't matter how hungry or how full you are. So that does kind of sound like it's conflicting and it's opposite approaches, right? Well, here, let me talk about how intuition leads you astray, or it can. So, I used to drink a ton of Diet Coke. I used to eat a ton of sugar, and this is still the trap I fall into sometimes because I like dessert, and it's not like I never ever eat sugar at all. And it just kind of takes hold of me a little more than it should, and then I have to, give it up for a while. But those things used to be just like daily fixtures in my diet. And I used to eat too much fat. And I'm not saying go for like a low fat, no fat diet. That's not healthy either. But I used to eat, a 1-pound bag of nuts in one sitting. I mean, that's just too much. I'm not even sure if my body can absorb that much fat in one sitting. So it's just way more than your body needs. It's not a healthy amount. But that's what I was used to. And I was hungry because I wasn't getting enough protein. So I'd keep eating and eating and eating nuts, okay? Because I still didn't feel satisfied. So what this plan does, okay, you get your veggies, fruits, protein, and then you get carbs and 2 different kinds of healthy fats, and you get some teaspoons too, so a 3rd kind of healthy fats. And it sets out the amounts for you each day. Number of each of those containers based on your weight, so how many calories you need at rest, and then also based on whether you're trying to lose weight, maintain, maybe gain some muscle. So then when you have your number of containers, for most people, they're probably going to be getting more vegetables than they're used to and probably more protein. And those, definitely the protein made the biggest difference in the way that I feel. And I never would have known it if I hadn't tried this plan. And, I'm not going to go back. Now, not everyone is the same. I used to be almost a vegetarian, kind of rarely eating meat, or even like only once a day. Like right now I eat meat at lunch and dinner, and then I have protein-packed snacks like yogurt, eggs at breakfast. So I eat a lot of protein. 5 of these a day. But, so it's just way more than I used to eat. And, that's what works for me. So if you try this plan and you hate the way you feel, then don't keep going with it. I'm not saying this is the one and only way to do it, but it's worked so well for me and for a lot of my clients that's why I keep leading these groups with it. And so whatever, comparing this to your pre-existing diet could be, for you, maybe you eat like 0 fat because you're used to thinking that fat is bad. So it might be more fat than you're used to. Or if you're, eat tons of carbs, or maybe you eat no carbs. Like it's going to be different for everyone how it affects you and what changes you're making to get to this kind of, happy medium. And then you can see, do you feel like you're not getting enough fat? Do you feel like it's too much protein for you? It's all about how you feel. But if you give this a try for 21 days, that gives you a chance to really see how you feel and to understand it and experience it. Because if you try anything for just one day, This is coming back to intuitive eating. So we get used to our habits and our bodies get used to it. There's even articles about how your gut bacteria are symbiotic with what you're eating. So if you're used to eating a ton of sugar and you stop, then your gut bacteria are like, hey, where's our sugar? Because all the bacteria that thrive in the presence of sugar, they're going to start to get really hungry or, die off. But like you'll crave sugar because your gut bacteria are craving it. So then when things readjust after, say, 21 days, a little arbitrary, maybe it's a little sooner or a little later, but definitely around, the end of this program, things will have reset to some extent where your body is used to this way of eating. So if you've given up soda, given up processed foods, sugar, eating less fat, whatever those changes were that you made to get your previous diet to this, then your body is used to it and you can really sense how you feel kind of after those initial cravings have worn off. So, and so then once your body has reset to this, that's when the intuition has also been reset. So now, if I'm not getting enough protein, I know what that feels like because I've experienced it. Where before, I had this kind of hungry feeling and I didn't know what was causing it and I never felt satisfied. Or, I don't know, maybe once in a while, if we went out to a restaurant, I had a big steak or something, but I didn't necessarily associate that with eating more protein. I didn't know. So, once you've kind of reset to, and again, this is not perfect, but most people, getting the processed foods out of your diet, eating more veggies, more protein, and wisely chosen, all the foods in this program are real whole foods and nutrient dense foods. And we talk about what that means and kind of how to choose those foods. So once you have experienced that, then that's when you start to have healthier cravings and notice when you go back to eating pizza how crummy you feel, or at least I do. So that's when the intuition kicks in and you can do intuitive eating and know, oh, I'm craving vegetables, where maybe you've not experienced that before. So intuitive eating, you do this for 21 days and now I just stick loosely by these ratios. I do not measure everything anymore, but I know I need 5 servings of protein in a day. So that's, either 3 meals and 2 snacks, all with 1 serving of protein. Or if I have a bigger serving of meat at lunch and dinner, then maybe I don't need protein in my snacks, but, healthy fats at every meal and snack for me. But then you start to notice and know what your body needs intuitively, but that intuition is informed by this experience that you had with the things that we know that science is showing are good for us: less processed foods, vegetables, healthy fats, etc. So that's really what I wanted to tell you, is that these 2 approaches, intuitive eating, 21-day fix, they can be combined, they can be integrated, they don't conflict with each other. It's possible to subscribe to both of them. So if you found this video informative, please subscribe to my channel. You'll get workout ideas, nutrition, fitness, healthy living tips, and it's all with a sensitivity for people with eating disorders or an eating disorder history like me. And, an awareness of and support for healthy body image and never, getting thin at all costs and that kind of thing. I think I have a little different spin on it than some coaches. So like I said, if you liked what you heard today, please subscribe and I'll talk to you later.